Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another week of Caitlin's Music City Skinny, my weekly Facebook Live show where I talk all things real estate. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And if you are catching this replay on my YouTube channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope that what we talk about today is going to be really helpful. So, if you have noticed the title that's scrolling across the bottom of the screen, it says how to take listing photos with your iPhone. And you're probably wondering, what in the world are you talking about, girl? So we're going to go ahead and dive on in. So the crazy thing to me was when I was doing a little bit of research, I found that a ton of people every single month were searching for how to take listing photos with their iPhone. And to be honest, it absolutely floored me. So I figured, okay, if people are searching for this, they need somebody that's going to kind of shoot straight from the hip with them and tell them what they really need to know. So how do you take listing photos with your iPhone? You don't. 100% unequivocally, you never take listing photos with your iPhone. There is a ton of reasons why, and we will kind of go ahead and dive into those. But let me say it again. Even if you're trying to go for sale by owner and you are trying to save money on cost, you don't want to pay the realtor fees. If there's anything that you want to do for yourself that'll actually help you get the kind of money that you're looking for, it's going to be professional photos. So never, ever take listing photos with your iPhone. You automatically are leaving a ton of money on the table when you do that. So let's kind of dive into this just a little bit. So when it comes to selling your home, you want to set yourself up best for success on the front end. That means making sure that your home shows well, that it's marketed well. And here's the crazy thing. When you look at the stats from the National Association of Realtors Home Buyer and Seller Report, we know that 95% of people are starting their home search online. So that means that your photos are going to be a buyer's first impression of your home. And here's the thing, even since the pandemic now, we have buyers that are buying in the Middle Tennessee area without ever even actually physically stepping foot in our home. Our market is moving so quickly right now that buyers don't even, especially if you're shopping from afar, you don't really have the opportunity to try to wait a few days, get out here, see a home, then make an offer. Like, you're having to make these decisions and make them quickly. And a lot of times that means making them without actually stepping foot in the home, especially if you're shopping from afar. So if you have crappy photos, how in the world are buyers going to be attracted to your home, right? Like, you may be like, well, it's a seller's market. They're going to like my home anyway. And that's just not how it works. Ultimately, a buyer, when they start to look at your photos, they're going to start to perceive value, whether they think that your home is worth what it is that you're asking for based on your photos. So, and here's the thing. Don't take my word for it. Go do your own deep dive on Zillow. It's going to start to become really apparent that photos are actually going to be really important to the success and sale of your home. So you start to look, and if you compare dark cell phone photos versus actual professional listing photos, they're a night and day kind of difference. And you ultimately, because again, here's the thing, if people are shopping online, as much as we know they are, and it's probably even more so now that people are at home, they're having to shop, online because of the pandemic. If your photos are not inspiring them to walk through the door, then you cannot accurately predict that people are even going to want to offer you what it is that you're asking. That's why professional photos are just so important. Because again, even if you want to go for sale by owner, the best thing that you can do for yourself, part of the best thing that you can do for yourself is to get those professional photos, because a professional photographer knows how to make sure that your photos are photographed in the right angle that best makes your home appeal to buyers. They have the eye to see that. Whereas if you're walking through a home with your cell phone, that's not really going to cut it. And I mean, here's the thing. I have had to help buyers from afar shop for homes here in Middle Tennessee. And so even the photos that I take on my own phone, because I try to supplement from the virtual tours and the video, I try to help supplement it with even more photos. I cannot even take good photos with this iPhone that would be even worth putting on a listing. So trying to use your iPhone is just not going to cut it. So ultimately, because again, think about it. If you were shopping for a couch, right? You're shopping online for a couch, or you're shopping online for a desk, because everybody these days needs desks because we're all working from home. We're all learning from home. Everybody wants a desk and they're really hard to come by, right? So you're looking at photos. Well, what are you going to think if you look at a photo where it's just like some, not well lit looking photo? It doesn't really show the details of the desk or, the couch or whatever it is you're looking for. But then you do have the professional photos. Which one are you going to gravitate towards? It's kind of like, think about Instagram. Why are we all attracted to Instagram photos? Well, because a lot of the ones that we gravitate towards, they're shot right, they show well, they've got the right lighting, the right filters, and we're naturally attracted to things that look good. And I'm going to put it out there. You can't make a listing look good with iPhone photos, because again, you're not going to be able to give the buyer an idea of what your home really looks like. And we also know from the National Association of Realtors Home Buyer and Seller Report that 65 to 67% of buyers will actually physically walk through a home that they tour online. So if your photos are not capturing their attention online, you are missing out on so many buyers walking through your door. And here's the thing. You may say, well, I only need one buyer. Well, okay, you're right. You do only need one right buyer. But if you're trying to get the highest and best for your home, if you're turning off a lot of potential buyers from your photos, you're leaving money on the table. That's just how it works. And I know you can be like, again, I want to save money. I can do it on my iPhone. You're leaving money on the table, and you are doing yourself a huge, huge disservice. I can go into a plethora of reasons of why you should never, ever, ever take listing photos with your iPhone. And if you have an agent that is willing to do that, get rid of them. Their interests are not all about you. It's about them. Because here's the thing, when you get into real estate, a lot of times people will be like, oh, we'll just spend the least amount of money to make your commission. And again, that's doing a disservice to you as our clients. Like, we're not doing right by you if we're not bringing in the professional photographers. And I mean, there's a lot that goes into making the photos look right. Like, if your home looks junky, girlfriend, you're going to need to declutter. You're going to need to get rid of some stuff. If you've got crazy paint colors, you're going to have to paint them neutral. And I realize this may seem like more than what you want to do, but if ultimately you're looking at the money you can get out of it at the end of it, it's worth putting in a little bit of the, sweat and tears and money on the front end in order to get that massive return on investment. Because as much as you can say, well, they shouldn't care about the paint, why don't they just look at the space? There's a lot of psychology that happens in a buyer's mind. And so that's like why I also believe that staging is so important, because a stager has taken the time to learn the psychology of a buyer, because staging is ultimately meant to make your home look the best of its ability, give each room purpose. Because again, it's all about speaking to a buyer's psychology and helping them make a decision on whether your home is right. And so at the end of the day, I know I've said it a million times already during this live, but I will continue to say it again. Never, ever, 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 ever take listing photos on your iPhone. And if you are going to hire an agent that says they will do that, they're not operating in your best interest. And you need to find a new one that will bring in the professional photographer. And again, if you are opting to go for sale by owner, I can understand. You're trying to save as much money as possible, but putting in the little bit of money to get those professional photos done by a professional real estate photographer will end up really benefiting you in the long run. So I really hope this was helpful. If you ever have any questions about listing, about photos, about my listing process, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I hope that everyone has a fabulous week. I'm going to go take care of the dogs. I'll see you next week.